Otzarot project, the Treasures project that she is about to present to you.
Hi. Hello. My name is Shira Meirson. I work at the Zalman Shazar Center for the Study of the History of the Jewish People. The center was established in 1973 by the Historical Society of Israel with the assistance of the Israeli government in honor of the third president, Zalman Shazar. The center aims to promote research of the history of the Jewish people and to foster Jewish historical consciousness in the spirit of the personal legacy and endeavors of Zalman Shazar. And I'm here today to tell you about our new and exciting project, Otzarot, the National Letter Collection, or it's meant to be the National Letter Collection. Otzarot means treasures in Hebrew, and we have many treasures already in this collection, and we hope to have many, many more. This project is only a few months old, and it's really in its beta stage. So I'm excited to share the project with you at such an early stage, and it's the first time we present it in an academic setting. So I hope talking here today will help in shaping the future of the project. So this is the last letter of Esther Kylan-Gold. Esther Kylan-Gold was a young teacher, a new immigrant from England. She made Aliyah at 1946. She was only 22 years old when the 1948 war started. Esther snuck into the old city of Jerusalem, which was under siege, to fight with the Israeli forces. On May 23rd, 1948, a few days before the old city was captured by the Jordanian Legion, Esther wrote a letter to her family in London. It's the only English letter in the site, and that's why I chose this letter. Esther wrote this letter knowing she will probably not survive the final battle. And it begins like this. Dear Mommy and Daddy and everybody, if you get this at all, it will be, I suppose, typical of all my hurried, messy letters. I'm writing it to beg of you that whatever may have happened to me, you will make the effort to take it in the spirit that I want. And to understand that I, for myself, have no regrets. We have had a bitter fight. I have tasted of Gehenna, which means hell. But it has been worthwhile because I'm quite convinced that the end will see a Jewish state and the realization of our longings. And it continues. Esther's last letter was found in her belongings after she was killed 6 days later. It is framed and hanging in her brother's apartment in Jerusalem. And now it is also available on the Otzarot website, translated into Hebrew and available on the site. Her letter, we believe her letter, her own words, need to become part of our nation's story, among many other letters. So our mission is to enrich and expand the story of the Jewish people in the 20th century by digitally collecting and preserving private letters from the general public and making them digitally accessible. Because the full story of the Jewish people and the state of Israel hasn't been fully told yet. And it is the foundation for building a strong society that is aware of its heritage. And many of the primary sources for this history are in private hands, in the hands of the family members of people who made this history, who built Israel's institution, who fought in the wars, who built new settlements, who came here in the big immigrations. And these sources are at risk of being forgotten or even ruined as long as they stay only in private hands. These are our partners. Our partners are in Mindset, a Center for Innovation and Technological Development and Education. They're based in Yerucham and founded by the Center for Educational Technology, Matach, in Hebrew. And it is supported by the Ministry of Jerusalem and Heritage and its landmarks program for preserving national heritage. So I'd like to show you the site. This is our homepage. Oops. No?
You need to exit the presentation in order to show your...
Let's try that. Maybe through here. Wait a minute. That's true. For here. Okay, so the slogan of the website is "The story of your family is the story of Israel." And we have about 70 letters so far on the site. Like I said, it's really the beginning. You can scroll down. Let me see. I lost the mouse. Sorry. Oh, okay. Let's try this. Okay, that's better, thank you. You can scroll down and see the feed of the letters, all the letters that are on the site so far. Okay. You can also browse through our tags and look for a topic of your interest. These are a list of tags. Once we click on a letter, this is the image. We can enlarge it and really read it. Okay? And we also have a transcription of every letter. This is the transcription. There's also all the information we could gather on the letter. The date, the writer, the receiver of the letter, where it was written and where it was sent to, and all the information we can find in a short text. And you can see a timeline in which the letter is, this is our letter in relation to other letters and other historical events around that letter. We invite people to contact us or upload letters on their own. There's a short form for just leaving contact information right here. It says, "Do you have treasures at home? And please contact us." And you can upload a letter on your own if you just fill this form. Okay, and I will elaborate on this a little later. Okay. So our target audience is the general public, and especially people who are interested in history, nostalgia, genealogy, Jewish and Israeli heritage. And we also hope the media and the researchers will be interested. Our users have different needs. They're the content consumers, which we like to call the passive users. They want to be exposed to interesting content, and they want to get curated content and easy to digest that they can read and enjoy. But we want to encourage our passive users to become active users and contribute letters to the website. In order to do this, we want to make the upload process very intuitive, simple, and even fun. And we also want to give them added value. We want to help them understand the historical context of the letter they uploaded. That's why we have the timeline, and we have other related letters. We want them to allow them to receive feedback and comments for the letter, and we want to encourage them to share the letter with their family and friends, and maybe even build a little family collection. So I want to share with you some of the challenges and questions we have at this stage. Going into the first stage of the project, we decided we wanted to pick a specific story, not to go for the whole 20th century, but to pick a specific time frame, language, and content. And we, maybe you noticed, we picked the establishment of the State of Israel around 1948. We're looking for personal letters in Hebrew, letters from this period of time that also address the historical events happening. So we sent our researchers to different archives looking for these letters, but soon enough we started receiving letters from private people, and they didn't always meet the requirements we wanted. Some letters from the 1930s, some from the 1950s, letters in Dutch, German, Hungarian, Romanian, English, so far. Love letters and private letters that have no historical, no relation to historical events. Here, for example, you can see a postcard. It is written in Romanian from a girl named Beda to her friend Tanya. Tanya's son gave us this postcard, and it actually promises eternal friendship. And in free translation, it reads, let me see, it reads, I found a stem that turned into a rose that told me to kiss you so you will never forget me, and so on. So should this postcard go on the project, on the Otzor project? We don't know yet. When is the right time to broaden the scope of the project? On the one hand, we want our users to have a positive experience and to upload any letters they see fit and see it on the website. On the other hand, we might lose the focus and the storytelling of the project. So this is an open question right now. We still haven't decided if this postcard will be on the website. Meeting reality. In the last few weeks, our digital project has met reality. Trying to collect letters, we contacted potential users and partners, and we have encountered a few challenges. We wanted to fill the website with letters before we go public. So in order to do that, we contacted many archives, asking them to just, contribute 10 letters from 1948, and we will give you credit, of course. And we hope to engage especially small archives that are usually unknown and inaccessible. So we met different levels of cooperation. One small kibbutz archive told us they would never allow us to look at personal letters, let alone publish them online, no way. On the other hand, we had some archives really cooperating, and for example, the Zichron Yaakov archive that were very kind and sent us some letters with all the information we needed. So we learned that each archive has a different approach, and it usually depends on the director and his or her goodwill. Most archives just let us do the work by ourselves. They let us send a researcher over, and he needs or she needs to find the letters, scan them, find the additional information, and handle usage rights. Which brings me to the painful subject of usage rights. We have to acquire this in order to publish letters online. If a private person uploads a letter, he or she are legally responsible for this letter. But when our staff uploads a letter to the site, we have to have the consent of the owners of the rights. So when we find a suitable letter in an archive, we need to find the family. It isn't always easy. We need to contact them and ask them for their permission to publish the letter and wait for an answer. This is a long process. Sometimes private users will send me an email with the letter and ask me to put it on the site, and then I have to make them sign a release form. This doesn't always go smoothly either. So in most cases, we need to be very patient and wait for them to consent. And sometimes we will never receive the consent, and the letter it's a beautiful letter, but it will not go on the site. The Zalman Shazar Center runs a course for writing a family history. So we contacted the participants of this course, asking them if they had any letters to share with us. 2 women approached me. They said they had letters, family letters, and they were very excited about the project. But they didn't want to upload the letters by themselves. They wanted our help. And although they were very enthusiastic, it took them a few weeks to send over the material. So that's when we realized that there's a gap between the will and the action, between getting excited about the project and wanting to publish your letter and actually doing so. And we also realized that the uploading process was not easy, not for every user, especially not for older users. So that is when we decided to try to get leads. Leads meaning contact information of letter owners. Instead of encouraging people to upload a letter, we asked them, just leave your phone number and address and email address, and we will do the rest. You can see here this short form, which you also saw on the website, asking people to just leave their information. Before Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's Independence Day, that was 2 weeks ago, we opened a Facebook page for Atzorot, and we started doing some campaigns, targeting audience, asking them to leave their information. We got very warm reactions. People shared our posts, they liked our posts, but we did not get many people to fill the form. So this is a challenge we're facing now, the challenge of finding the letter owners and bridging the gap between owning the letter and becoming an active user on the Atzorot site. So this is the most significant challenge we are facing right now, and will determine the success of the project. Realizing this, we're trying to really bridge the gap between the digital and the real world, and we want to try to find those people. We were thinking about 3 main paths. First of all, we want to reach out to senior citizens through retirement homes and community centers. And next month we will have a first trial of this at Beit Hoffman. It's a community center for senior citizens in Jerusalem. We will have an event there, and I hope we will learn a lot from it. Second of all, we want to start working with schools. We want to work with students, thinking maybe students will be able to look for family letters as part of history classes or family heritage projects, Avodat Shorashim, which every student in Israel does. So we also want to learn what teachers and students can benefit from the project besides contributing to it. And last, we started talking to researchers who study this time period, and they might be able to point us in new directions for finding letters. And we also want to learn and understand what they need. Transcription, the main technological challenge we're facing right now. We understand the importance of presenting a digital text, a searchable, readable text, and no letter airs on the website without a transcription. Right now, our staff does it. We understood that it's not a light matter, and we decided to go into the first stage of the project, transcribing the letters manually. We encourage our users, anyone who uploads a letter, we encourage them to transcribe the letter, but it's not mandatory. A person can upload a letter without transcription, and then our staff will do it. And of course, any letter we get from an archive, we transcribe. But eventually, we have to find the technology that will enable us to decipher these letters, and mostly in Hebrew, but in many different languages as well. So we hope to leave here today with some ideas and directions. We already heard some. How long do I have?
Actually, it depends on how much do you want to leave to questions. It's preferable if you open up questions.
Okay, so in a few more minutes. Okay. The upload process. So like I mentioned before, some users find it difficult. Anyone can scan a letter with their phone today, but our older users usually use the desktop. And if they open up the website and want to upload the image from their phone, they don't always know how to do that. That's just like a little example of how things might get difficult for different audiences. And it's also a long form, and they have to leave a lot of metadata. So we're thinking of ways we want to simplify the form, and this is mainly a user experience challenge we want to address at the next stage. And I will mention this shortly, the timeline, which we think could be a lot more significant. Right now it's designed to show automatically a few events and letters before the specific letter and a few events and letters after it. And we want it to be more significant information-wise and design-wise. Eventually, we want all of the letters of the project to be on a timeline, and this is another user experience challenge for the next stage. Future plans for the near future. So we still don't have a full text search, just tags. So we want to have this. We want to connect between the letters. If there's a certain date or a certain writer, we want you to be able to see all the letters from that date, all the letters from that writer. We want to design the homepage in a different way that will have curated content, not only the whole feed of the letters, because we're starting to see too many for one page. So we want to have curated content, for example, letters relating to this date or specific holiday, recommended letters, etc. And most importantly, we want to bring many more letters onto the site, because we learn a lot from each user and from each letter. We can learn and improve. We want to make it more attractive both for the content consumers and content producers. Last but not least, so like I said, this project is designed for the general public, but we also see great potential for the research world. After all, some of the letters here never saw light before. We want to bring many more letters that are now stored in boxes and closets and private homes. So we see great potential here for a new collection of primary sources for research. And there's a lot to be learned from these letters and many different points of view. So we would like to hear from you how OTSOL can help your research, and what features OTSOL needs to have in order to do this. So we encourage you to follow us on Facebook. It's only in Hebrew right now. And to go into the website, you can scan the QR codes here, or just look for us on Google or Facebook, or write down our email, and we would love to hear from you with any suggestions. Oh, and of course, if you have letters, family letters, please send them over, upload them to the site, and let us know what it was like. Thank you.
Thank you. So we take a couple more questions, because we also started late with Roland?
Yes. Hi. First of all, I would like to say it's a well-designed project. It looks great, and it's really impressive. Have a few notes. First of all, content. You said you have what, 70 letters today? Well,
It's the beginning, like I said.
yeah. Well, when it's 7,000 letters, and that's the main thing here. I think events like the ones you suggested in elderly houses, maybe these might be a good idea. I remember that back in the days they had Linux installation parties, and you can have these kind of things in campuses all around, and I'm sure people will participate and bring letters, and you can help them scan. Bring a couple scanners and do this stuff. I really like the fact that you do not have limitations on quality, because most fonts, most cell phones today produce pretty high quality images, and these are obstacles in some way. And I have one suggestion for the upload process. You might use a WhatsApp number. So, because even elder people use WhatsApp, and they can take a picture of the letter and send it to a number, and you can actually have a small conversation with them, or even have a bot do this conversation. What's the year? General content stuff. So, but overall, this is a fascinating project, and well done.
Thank you, and good suggestion.
I have one more suggestion. Recently there is a growing trend where families writing a book of the father or the mother. My mother just did about my grandfather. A lot of letters is there, I'm sure. So you can apply maybe to those who help the families to write those books. Another growing trend of freelancers writing books about families and helping the families. So it's another channel to reach, because I guess family who writes books about their family also can take pride of some parts, especially if they took any part in establishing in Israel. So.
Moshe? Great. Thank you.
First I would like to join Dror in appreciation of what you've done. About a year before it, we had so many discussions searching for the accurate way to do that, and suddenly we came out with this, and it really seems that we found something which is very, very accurate, I think, in terms of the user experience. And it's an excellent point of departure. When it will move to much larger numbers, then I think questions of personalization and the ability to tailor the experience of the users to their own interests and needs might be very relevant. It's almost like the personalization of in Spotify of the music you like. You can personalization of the letters that might interest you, and also letters that might be relevant in a certain day for all the public. And I assume that for that sake, there should be like a deeper database behind, a database that has the geographical entities and personal entities within it, that would create a kind of inner link data web behind it, and that will enable the later on flexibility. It's something which is more than only tagging, but actually that's the thing we were discussing about, giving a kind of a layer of academic metadata for that. But that's, I guess, this is for the next stage.
Yes, I should mention the mindset program that we're. The user experience and the design is
it's their expertise.
It's theirs, and it came out beautifully.
I also want to commend the fact that there was you kept the line structure in the transcription, which will help very much to then align it and train handwritten recognition. But yeah, we need more than 70 letters. Actually, maybe 7,000, but we'll see. Thank you very much. Thank you all. It was a fascinating session, and we meet in